All right, good morning and welcome to Virident HGST. Things have changed a bit since we invited you to this event. Virident is no longer just Virident. Virident is Virident HGST. As you can see from the setup here, we still have that entrepreneurial startup feel with 3 tables collected together to make it one big room. But my name is Mike Gustafson, prior CEO and now SVP and General Manager of the SSD business for HGST. I also go by Gus. I want to thank you very much for being here. In the time that I have together with you, my goal would be just to kind of give you an update of the business, the company, the new combined companies now, and a little bit about our vision and direction. I understand the group that we're with. I will do that relatively quickly. Thank you for allowing that to happen. What I wanted to do is start with, and I'm sure everybody has seen this news, but extremely exciting to us is the opportunity to accelerate a vision that our founders started in 2006 around Flash as a platform and the next generation data centers and how we can actually take advantage of this media, and not just the media itself, but a platform approach to the next generation data centers. And I'll share a little bit about that. We now are combined with and part of HGST. I won't go into detail about the structure of WDC, HGST, et cetera. I think the key point as a takeaway there is that Virident, as a standalone business, was scaling and growing very quickly. 200% year over year in revenues. We've added over 100 customers. What's unique and different, though, is this is way bigger than just Virident now. This is Virident, this is S-Tech, this is Velabit, this is the HGST platform and the power of a Flash business. And so we're really excited about that. Just to set context, though, we're only 3 weeks into the combined company. But Virident rolls in now to a gentleman named Mike Cordano. What we'll talk about today is mostly going to be on the performance tier, the shared storage on the server side. But a big part of our vision and strategy, which you'll be hearing more about, is our vision around cold storage as well. And I'll try to put that into some context, and that may be something we talk about further as we go forward. So I think on the highlights here, again, what I would say is while Virident was at this size and scale, at the time of the acquisition, there's several hundred more colleagues that we join now in the SSD group. And what I would say there is that the depth of people, experience, portfolio of products, which I'll talk to briefly, and the patents and the depth of our patent portfolio now have basically tripled, since we've joined this company, both in resource and in depth of portfolio. So very excited about that. You'll hear more about our product strategy and some of the architectural direction there as we go forward. Again, I think what's critical, though, is it's not just Virident. And I think if you hadn't seen this one of the things that underpins the evolution of what's going on around solid state is that this has been going on for a long time. Virident was founded in 2006. Obviously, what's referenced here on the bottom left with the Intel joint venture with HGST and WD is a big part of the solid state storage group. Underpinning that is several hundred million in revenues. In addition, through the acquisition strategy the last 3 months with HGST, we have now picked up some really core building blocks of technology. And by that I mean the controller up, really strong controller architecture and capabilities, enhanced software capabilities around caching and such with Velabit, and a broad portfolio of a platform, PCIe product, and FlashMax Connect software with Virident. So these now all combine into this group. On the right side, what I'll highlight here briefly is, I think, we are very humble. We stay humble. We love to compete. But in this market, I think we've taken a very strong position. If there were any questions around the capability of the technologies and the staying power of the companies, and I mean all of them together now, that's gone away. And so from a startup perspective inside of Virident, it's a massive acceleration and an opportunity for us to bring the market more faster. So when you can see here, WDC as a company has about 41% market share of all HDD, which means the world's data, the world's information really sits on our infrastructure. Below that, when you look at the SSD portion of the business or the flash portion of the business, just on the HGST family, we have about 13% market share. For the first time ever, the company broke out that revenue. As you know, now that we're a public company, we have to be extremely sensitive to regulation, FD, and all these kinds of things. So some of the statistics we will quote. If you have questions, we're not trying to avoid them, but this is some of the data we've shared publicly. And we'll continue to break out and share the flash and the SSD revenues on a go-forward basis. Clearly, we expect to drive revenue and market share growth, growing faster than the market, but this gives you a foundation of the trailing 12 months or the trailing 12 quarters here in terms of the share of the SSD business. Okay? And again, I think quickly, but an important context for us anyway, is on the left side of this, what you see is what occurred a decade ago or so in storage area networking. Direct attached storage, you know the problems there. How do you actually create shared storage? What's interesting about this in the vision of the founders, and I think Kumar's in here, I don't know if you'll probably have some time in Q&A, but Kumar Ganapathy is one of our founders, now driving product strategy and some of the business development within HGST. But the vision was always to make sure that this was not just DAS. This is not just a replacement for direct attached storage. It is a shared platform. So architected from the ground up to be able to handle those things. And a key part of that is leading hardware, leading devices, best in class. But as important and more important is the software strategy and the vision around that, together, working those things together. So again, the combined assets of those, including the way we view creating a shared network of storage on the server side. So just a couple more slides here. If you fast forward, what we believe is happening is flash is becoming a pervasive deployment across data centers. And the big assumption there is it will have the same characteristics of shared storage, SAN. And if it does, it will become pervasive. If it doesn't, it will be DAS, single instance, one application, et cetera. But to get to two types of storage platforms, one a performance-oriented tier on the top here, represented with flash. And it isn't just PCIe, SSD, extended memory technologies, next generation capabilities, all of those things we see. But the tiering of storage up on the server side, dominated by the flash, with common characteristics, HA capabilities, sharing capabilities, provision capabilities, et cetera. And then also we see kind of a more cold or a capacity tier of storage. Now that we're together, we have the ability to address both of these, end-to-end, from highest performance capabilities, the software and the capabilities around that in terms of shared storage and the management of, and then ultimately down into the capacity tier. And if you saw the company's recent announcement a week ago on the helium drive as an example, you're starting to see a much different level of capacity and those technologies where there's still a lot of innovation occurring on the capacity tier as well. That's the power of the combined platforms that's obviously net new and unique for us. I won't go into this in detail because I think Ken will talk about the product set, but again, it's much broader than just the PCIe, and this was a day one view, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about where we're headed directionally. And then on the software side, what we'll go into detail on is, what are the capabilities today, and what is the vision we see around these features. One thing that I'd also like to call out is through the acquisition of S-Tech, there were some incredible technologies and software capabilities around profiling behavior and workflow. That helps on the caching side. It also had some, we also have some incredible technologies around endurance, where the endurance and some of the unique tricks, capabilities by handling the NAND more deeply, we're able to drive to a much higher level of endurance. And these are things that we're going to integrate into the combined roadmaps. So last, I'll close with just the mission of this group. We are focused, and the company made an intentional decision to create a group or a business unit around the SSD and the flash business. This includes the flash components, the software and solutions, and to drive and create a business model and an operating plan around it. We see this as obviously a huge growth area in the marketplace. We'll be driving that not only in terms of the operating plan, but obviously around driving the product portfolio. We'll also be very focused on making sure that we're leading in the market. I shared with you already some of the market share and revenue that we have. As we execute, we'll share that obviously on a public basis, but very excited about the opportunity that we have ahead of us, and that's the mission we're driving to. So in summary, before I turn it back over, you can see the building blocks and the capabilities, hopefully. With the 10 or 15 minutes here, hopefully I know I didn't put you to sleep because I'm watching, but the other part of it is hopefully you can appreciate why we're so excited. We really believe that, no question on the market opportunity, no question on the capabilities of the technology, no question on the growth and successes of the core business, but now we've got an accelerator, and that accelerator is bringing this all together. There's a level of critical mass, which is not just in number, but I had an opportunity through a couple of research meetings where we brought the teams together 2 weeks ago to see hundreds of people with deep, long experience around this space, and it was beautiful. Just whiteboards and incredible opportunities. So we're really excited about what lays ahead.
Now we're making us sad we weren't
It was internal only, but I guarantee if you'd have been here, you would have been at the whiteboard struggling to steal a pen. So I'll just say that. Okay, so with that, thank you very much again for being here. Welcome to Virident HGST, and I'm going to pass it over to Ken Groh, who runs our worldwide sales operations.